So good morning, everyone. For those who is watching this recording, I'm Bonnie, the product designer from the pipeline security team. So in the last week, UX forum, Katie shared her design process and work about the feature discovery for AI. Today, I'd like to continue the conversation of the features discovery, but viewing with metaphors. I think we can always create something really amazing, but if user cannot discover it or easily access it, there won't be benefit from it. And I've been thinking how we can ensure users find, access, and adopt the new secret managers features our team is building. So I like to think about this challenge using metaphors. So imagine we have this beautiful and functional house, but without doors and windows. No one could really know what's in there, let alone to come inside. And we need an entry door, and it's even better if we could offer multiple windows. So today I wanted to share with you how I applied this windows and doors concept to the secret manager design. And I'll be curious to hear if the concept can be helpful for thinking or designing any features discoverability and user onboarding. So I use doors to describe the primary entry point because in a physical space, the door is like the main way people enter a building, and they are designed for direct access, like the main entry to a house. And for Windows, I like to use that to describe secondary access point, contextual access point, or viewpoints. In a physical space, Windows offered additional visibility and light, but aren't typically used for direct entering. So a house without doors and windows is a fully enclosed and sealed structure, which I like to think it is quite similar to a product features that exist, but is inaccessible or which is really, really hard to discover. So I applied these metaphors when I was working on the design proposal of determining the entry points for Secret Manager, which is the issue here, and you can find the link on the agenda. The proposal here is consisted of two parts, so which is the feature location and the entry point. The feature location is that entry door to the secret manager, which is the main path that user can access the secret manager where it housed. And the entry points here, what I meant is the additional windows to the secret manager, which allow user to access secrets in multiple ways. And usually that will be within their workflow. So looking at the door, the main path here, and I'm thinking it is the navigation. And I had two location proposal. On the left, you can see is the directly under secured. And then the other location I was thinking is coexist with variables under CI/CD settings. How I find these two location, it was from the problem validation we conduct before I worked on this proposal. So this problem validation is coming from our hypothesis at the very beginning, because we were thinking secrets are very close to variables. These two may be linked. So where should we put this, or should our secrets be a standalone pages by itself? So we asked 32 participants to conducted a tree testing. And from there, we asked them to where do they expect to find variables and where do they expect to find secrets in the main menu. So from our findings here, for secrets, the top location being directly under secured, this is to do with the the user mental model of thinking secret manager are closely connected to secure because it's one of the security tools. And for those who chose CI/CD settings, they are familiar with the GitLab variables and have used it in the past, and they know where variable is, so that they chooses the CI/CD settings. But because they are quite closely together, I think it's like 1 vote or 2 votes difference. So then in my proposal, I was having these 2 locations. But for each of it, I was looking at why it should be under secured, and why it is under setting and CI/CD, and why not it shouldn't be under these 2 locations. And also looking at if secret manager should be a dedicated pages or co-located with variables. And with that, I also weighted between the impact and the efforts to get in that locations. So that was the door. And now we have the ideas of where to put this door. And I think we shouldn't forget to put some more windows to this. So that is for users to perform quick actions without have to navigate to Secret Manager for that. So I was looking at this window concept, and for windows, we want more than one. So in here, for context, secrets for MVC would be mainly used in the CI area. So what I'm looking here is mainly in the pipeline editors. So the first thing I was looking at within the editing experience in the pipeline editors. Is that a way for a user to just quickly access the secrets here without navigating to the secret manager? Because in the workflow, it's not necessary they need to comprehensively manage the secrets here, but what they wanted to do here is to quickly a contextual access to maybe look for a specific secret, or maybe navigate down of what's the secrets is available for a specific environment or branches. So I have this idea to put the secrets button here. What this does is when it's clicked, we'll bring up a drawer here, and user can quickly filter down and copy through a secret key and use it in the pipeline. And I also look at what does that look like if we have variables here as well. So it would be a similar concept for variables, but they would have more information on the drawer compared to secrets. And I also look at if we cannot do this right away or in this ideal designed, then what is the minimum way we can allow like a quick access? So maybe we could add a quick shortcut button so that user can quickly go to the secret manager or quickly go to variables. But since they are in a different location, so I split it into the 2 buttons. And the other thing I was looking at is maybe we can do support the code completions by putting the secrets keywords. Then user can quickly insert that key within the code. And also if for some reason user get lost or couldn't remember and couldn't find where things are, then they should be able to use the global search to quickly go to the secret manager. So again, all these additional windows, I was thinking about why we should have this and what they are, and also compare the impact and effort. So then when I think about what should we do next, then we can look at these impact versus efforts to think about what should we do in phase 1, phase 2, or something that we can consider in future iterations. But I think I've talked quite a bit here. I just want to open the floor and ask, like, is there any features in your mind that user has been like struggle to find it, and like, is there any like alternative windows you think it would be possible we can add so that user can yeah quickly access or yeah quickly go to these kind of features?
Cool. I put that question down into the agenda.
Oh.
Are there any features that you think users have that could be improved with Windows? Hmm.
I think there are some things like reports in pipelines that you have to go to the pipeline, then you have to go to a tab, then you have to go, you like have to dig down th through pipelines, sometimes specific pipelines to find the report, which can be challenging. Like you might not even know that the security scanners are running on your pipeline if someone else added it. And then after the fact, like you just don't even know it's there because it's not really showing up in front of you. And if you're wondering if things are secure, you might have to ask around before realizing that you can dig down and find it somewhere.
Hmm.
Mm.
So in that context, Bonnie, do you think that's like a window that's opaque? Like digging through the pages is like going through like the window, but not even knowing that it exists.
Mm.
Do you see like that is like something that we miss sometimes, or do you see that more as like a brick wall, as your first analogy said, like a feature where people can't discover it or even know about it is kind of like an isolated feature? In that case of Marcel's scenario, I'm talking about reports and pipelines. It feels like if you're on the pipelines page, you know that they exist, but you don't know what's inside. So how would you apply your Windows theories to that? Like I'm putting you on the spot here, but
Yeah, well, without knowing much about features, I think my first question would be, would user really need to see the report when they are on that page? Because like, well, it's nice to add windows to quick access, but if user doesn't really need to do that at that point, or if they not frequently need to do that, then I don't think we will need it. But if it is something they have to reference every now and then, I think we should yeah, I think it's an opportunity to do that. What do you think, Michael?
uh, thinking about Windows, to me, it almost feels like it's a window that's there because you can access and dig through and jump through it and go through, but you don't see it. So it's almost like
Mm,
stained glass or like it's like etched. So you kind of understand, kind of see a shadow of like things in there, but you need to jump through. And it's like maybe it just needs like to be see through, and so that you know what's there before you jump through. So it might could be like, oh, this path, this like thing has like 18 reports. And then you're like, okay, cool. If it's 18 and I was expecting seven, then that's probably means someone added a whole bunch of stuff. So then maybe I jumped through to see it. I don't know. I just like Bonnie, I don't know this area too well, and I'm just spitballing, but yeah.
I like the only extension point for this that really comes to mind is just more CI/CD pipeline configuration, where for a given key, only certain values might be valid. Like if you have like a needs relationship between jobs, a job that you're currently creating, if you're going to declare a need on another job, then there's a finite list of jobs that it can need. Correct me if I'm wrong, Marcel, but so to actually have like, so you may not have the autocomplete, which is amazing looking, and that's the high effort one. But even something, I don't know, as you're building, yeah, like YAML, and we're trying to do more of this in the UI rather than doing it
mm,
all locally, pushing and then having it fail.
Mm,
Just having anytime there's like a finite list of values that are valid for a given configuration, it'd be great to have them, I guess, in a drawer like a reference drawer or whatever the case may be. I can see at the moment where you'd have to have multiple tabs open in your browser, and you'd have to switch between, like, is it access tokens or is it variables or is it blah? And then you go back and forth, back and forth. And this just stops you having to sort of jump between different parts of the interface. And yeah, I think for CI/CD, like pipeline configuration, it's even a little bit more like that, where you're sort of waiting for the tool to validate you. I know we've got a linter, but the linter might say, oh, well, that doesn't exist. And it's like, oh, I've made a spelling mistake or something like that. If you had the full list of valid values for a given key, then you would make fewer of those little frustrating errors. I guess that's just the one thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, I work with Bonnie in pipeline security, and I didn't see these designs yet, and just I'm really excited to see them because it is a new way of thinking about how to access both secrets and variables. And when Bonnie showed the drawer on the right side showing all of the variables, I was like, oh, that would be so convenient because you don't need to manage everything. You don't need the full thing, but you do need, like Evan said, kind of, oh, what was that variable? What's the exact name? And I can see that Bonnie put in a little copy icon, and you can just copy it and paste it right in. And then that just led me to think about, oh, wouldn't it be so cool if you could also just autocomplete that variable as well? And then she went to the next page in the slide, and there it was. And it just it flowed logically to someday being able to autocomplete. So it's interesting to think about it from doors and windows that the page itself could actually be really hard to get to be perfectly honest. But that as long as you have visibility on the information you need, you don't necessarily need to manage something every day, but you do need to see it every day. So the door can be gated much more securely, and the ability to manage it and things like that. There can be lots of locks and things, but that if you're like, well, you just need the list of names, you don't need the values, you don't need anything. That can be the window that the average user needs just to make use of it, while people who manage it get the kind of the full door, the full access.
Yeah, in a way, it's like contextual help. And it's one of the, like, this would make the online CI/CD editor better than doing it locally. So, at the moment, maybe doing it locally or doing it in this window, maybe doing it locally is a little easier, because you've got all your YAML linters in your editor, perhaps, and there's a few other bits and pieces that you'll set up locally. But to have this contextual help effectively is what it looks like. It looks like contextual help. That makes the online editor better than the offline editor, because the offline editor is never going to have this context. So it's pretty cool.
I suppose there's also a slight link to documentation as well. I've got to link it to doc somehow, but if you think of like help texts and things like that we do, and we often put a little blurb, some basic information in the help text, but if you need the full thing, we link out to the docs. So that's also kind of a window versus a door, but it does the drawback is what Evan said before about taking you away from the work where you are, and then needing to switch back and forth if you're reading the docs. So that if you can give a little bit of insight on the feature in the help text, that's kind of the window. But that if you need the full history and the full use cases and everything like that, you can access a different area and get the information that you need.
Well,
Very
thank
good.
you both. I shouldn't take too much longer because Michael still need to do his talk, but I just want to wrap up with the where we are. So I have put the solution proposal into a solution validation. I just conducted earlier this week, and I put the summary here, which you can find in the agenda. And it just echoed what Marcel and Evan had mentioned. User did find the shortcut buttons and the drawer really helpful, and they would like describe it as a very convenient addition to the workflow, because user mentioned it makes the task super easy without have to switch back and forth between pages, which they thought they need to, but until they see that, they just was quite delighted to see that would be in the workflow. And for the allocation, it's been validated that the directly under secured would be something that we wanted to go. So for me, for the next step is I will polish the navigation proposal and present it to the foundation team, and wish me luck for that. So thank you very much. That's my talk here.
Right. Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you.